What's up, YouTube? It's your boy KingRogue, and I'm about to go ahead and explain to y'all the differences on nicotine and tobacco and why I quit tobacco completely. When I was smoking tobacco, I was on Black and Milds real bad. Not real bad, but for a little bit of time. So I first got introduced to nicotine at the age of let's say around 13 and 10 months. It was around October, and my friends hosted. They told me to come over or whatnot, so I went over there. They in the basement, so I'm in the basement with them, and they chilling with the older brother, and he got a vape cartridge in his hand and shit. So I always was the kind of person to be like, I ain't gonna smoke, and I used to judge folks for it. But at the same time, now that I do it, I kind of see why they smoke. But that's besides the point. I was down there, and I said, everybody was getting it passed around to them, so I said, let me see. So I'm trying to inhale, and that's where I started the addiction. The buzz feeling that you get from it, because back then the nicotine levels were lower than what it was its first year out. So after its first year, so I'm not getting much for nicotine buzz, but the more I'm hitting it, I'm trying to inhale, and I just cannot inhale. I keep coughing, and eventually I inhaled my first 2 hits, and then after that I was good. But I was really rocky, and I was stumbling and dizzy, and it was a nice feeling body-wise and very relaxing. So that's when the nicotine addiction started. But anyway, I was first introduced to vapes. Now that we can go into the differences, I'm about to go ahead and explain. So nicotine got 3 to 5 chemicals, which on this box it says that if you get your own, it'll say vegetable glycerin, propylene, glycol, nicotine, and artificial flavors. So out of that whole box, I probably read about 3 to 4 ingredients. Okay, tobacco. It has over 2,500 chemicals compared to nicotine or vaping. Nicotine got a measured amount of nicotine, which is why I like nicotine vaping more, because it's measured and you're not getting ripped off. You're actually gonna get a nice buzz compared to any sort of tobacco out there. Tobacco has inconsistent nicotine, meaning it can have 10 milligrams, 12 milligrams inside of a single cigarette or cigar. I ain't gonna say cigar, because cigars, they obviously have a lot more tobacco, but you get what I'm trying to say. Low to moderate toxicity. So when you're vaping, you're not really getting exposed to a whole bunch of toxic stuff inside the vape cartridge. So that's a good thing about it. Tobacco, on the other hand, includes 4,000 chemicals. And the levels in vaping are significantly less than a regular cigarette. It has over 200 poisonous chemicals, which is also another thing to think about when you're trying to smoke tobacco. It rots your teeth and lungs and gums. That's due to the tar and all the other chemicals that's found in it. For nicotine, we got no burning of tobacco, so there's no burning. Okay, so we're not smoking anything, we're just vaping. That's all we're doing. And for nicotine, it also does not produce enough heat to cause for combustion. So that's the good thing about it. I'm not gonna go too deep into what that means, because I don't know. So it leaves no tar behind. So basically, if you go on this video that I'm gonna leave in the link in the description to go watch, it's gonna basically show you the difference and how tobacco is much worse than nicotine or vaping. No after residue, so no ashing. Okay, and there's only a 95% less amount being left in your system that's harmful wise, other than tobacco. So that's that. nicotine is non-lingering. So when you blow this out, then I just hit my vape. But when you blow it out, it does not leave a trail of smoke just sitting in the air. If you blow enough, yes, but only for a little bit of time. And you're gonna have to blow a lot of vapor smoke to actually cloud an environment. Tobacco leaves stinky odor. So the odor inside of nicotine, or tobacco, my bad. The odor inside tobacco is foul. It can also impact the mood of others and their health, which is why they be getting moody when they smell cigarettes, Black and Milds, or cigar floating in their direction. You might catch an attitude because of how harmful it is. So these now are my personal opinions, right? So nicotine is much faster to get addicted to vaping. And the reason why I say that is because of how concentrated. Remember how I said that tobacco has inconsistent nicotine levels, and vaping has measured nicotine levels. So, for instance, if you get a Geek bar from the store, then compared to a Black and Mild, you'll have to gradually smoke the Black and Mild to get an effect. I'm only saying Black and Milds because that's what I used to smoke. I don't smoke those no more. So, that's that. And it's also easy access. I'm talking about vaping. Vaping it's very easy to access. So you can go in your pocket and get it. You feel me? You can smoke this in the hospital, in the bathroom real quick and not leave no kind of clue behind that you smoke. Only if they walk in, as soon as you leave the room, will they smell a fruity vapor, but they won't know what to think of it if they're not really a vapor or don't know much about it. For tobacco on the other hand, it's little access. So you have to go outside in the parking lot. You have to, not in the parking lot, but you got to go outside. You can't smoke indoors around people that does not agree with the smoke. Or if you're inside of a corporated environment that got rules, you can't get away with it because the smell is going to linger and stink up the rest of the environment, and it's going to stay. So that's the difference between, nicotine and tobacco. So, and when I say nicotine, y'all, I mean vaping. I keep switching it up. I'm sorry. So, and these are all my opinions too. So, insomnia can be caused by vaping easier than they can cigarettes or tobacco. And the reason why I say that is because, like I said, it's so much of easy access to the point where you can easily just hit it at any time. Like for instance, it's 1:33 in the morning right now, and I'm supposed to be asleep, but I've been hitting this nicotine cartridge, and because the nicotine levels are so elevated, to most people it's going to cause sleep insomnia because of the fact that when you sleep off of it, right, or soon after hitting it, when you're trying to go to sleep, right before you go to sleep, you're going to realize that your breathing is suppressed, and then you kind of get a wave of anxiety. Sorry for the background noise, but you're going to get a wave of anxiety when trying to go to sleep, and that's going to rush you into a wake panic attack. So in order to avoid those, you got to wait 2 hours after your last nicotine consumption hit, and that's when the nicotine start leaving your system, around 2 hours. Right? Okay. And you also have elevated oxygen levels in your bloodstream, which is also one thing to consider too. It's 95% healthier than tobacco. Due to all the chemicals and poisonous toxins, convulsions, and all that tobacco has, it's screaming red flags, so do not go smoke those. Vaping is 95% healthier and was made for the purpose of safely quitting nicotine without any further or significantly further harm to the body. Nicotine poisoning is more prone with vaping than tobacco. And the reason why I say that is because of how concentrated the levels is. So let's say it's been a few times where I was fresh off the wake, and I would hit my vape, and then I would just vomit all over the floor, right? So I'll vomit because you got certain people out there that's gonna hit a vape different than the next person. So, for instance, somebody might be coming from cigarettes or just in general, and they might take one puff and they might put it out. Now, on some pro advanced hitters, then they're gonna be double hitting it. So let's say I'm a vape tweaker, so I'll hit this vape after about 6 hours. I'll hit this twice, so I'll take 2 inhales in one breath. So, and there'll be big inhales too, so that way I can get as much nicotine as I can in the morning, and then I'll be buzzed, stumbling, dizzy, very relaxed, all that good feeling, right? Now, vaping also is less dehydrating because it's just juice, it's vapor, and vapor normally turns into water. So yes, that means that water can be in your lungs, but I don't think it's a big problem. I've been smoking or vaping for, I'll say about since I was 13, 14. Since I was 14, I'm gonna say that, because it was like by my birthday when I started my addiction. So yeah, I've been vaping since 14, and I can definitely say that the dehydration differences between tobacco and vaping is totally different. Tobacco, on the other hand, little access. So, like I said, you gotta go smoke that shit outside. More headaches. The headaches are a bitch. When you are, let's say you're a Black and Mild smoker, because I was, right? I will smoke 2 Black and Milds. By the time I'm on the second 1.5 of that, I would say I have a headache going on for the next 4 to 5, or probably the whole day until I go to sleep. And it also causes a very harsh taste. So when you are inhaling tobacco versus inhaling vapor, you'll notice that the vape is way more smooth, probably heavier in smoke or vapor or whatever, you know, it'll be heavier. And for some reason, the people just don't like nicotine or vaping, which I can respect that. And the reason why I think is because me myself, I went a couple days without hitting the vape. When you hit the vape, it just gives you a whole bunch of, and you just be trying to unclog your throat after the hit, which is probably why people don't want to hit vapes. Secondhand harm. So the secondhand harm for tobacco will cause a negative impact in mood and harm physically to others around you inhaling the smoke. So that's just the no-no. Dehydration. I already went over that. But which do I think is easier to quit? So we're gonna talk about the quitting, right? So the quitting, if I had to go from both perspectives, I have put down vaping once before. And I can say that vaping is a healthier alternative way to stopping vaping. It's better. And if you really want to quit nicotine, let me tell you how. First thing you gotta do is stay active. Find things in your life that interest you, and just try to focus on those throughout the day. Keep those plans scheduled. So if you're gonna work out at 6 o'clock in the morning, make sure you have an alarm for that. Next 2 hours, read a book. Next 2 hours, go for a jog, go for a run. Next 2 hours, study something on a computer. Play the game. After that, you know, so just make sure you have your activities aligned and make sure you have them on a time schedule. Try not to let anything get in between that, because that just makes the process harder, and avoid getting bored, because like they say, the devil's playground is an idle mind. A mind that is just stuck and not really active and, you know, doing anything. Boredom, I should say. If it was a word for it, I'll say boredom. just don't get bored. Also taper down. So let's say you are hitting a vape, right? And then let's say you're getting ready to quit. So you'll probably kill about half of this vape, right? And then after you kill about half of it, you got your no nicotine juice. So I advise you to go get some nicotine juice from the store that says either 2 to 0%. 2 to 0%. If you're gonna go with the 2%, taper down how much you smoke. So if you're gonna smoke one day, let's say, first day, let's say you were smoking or vaping, my bad, 2 times a day. The next day, go 1 time a day. And then it'll be easier to quit nicotine. So, you know, you get what I mean, bro. Just space out the time frame that you hit your vape every time you hit it. Increase it. But other than that, y'all, that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave it a like. Comment on the video if you find something. If you got any questions or just enjoy the content, make sure you leave it a comment. And if you're new here, give it a subscribe to the channel. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.